Hello dear viewers, this is George from Ireland. Here I am in Moscow. Now, you might recognise that man behind me. Yes, it is Dr. Marx. One doesn't hear very much about him anymore. So I'm here on this square in the centre of Moscow, Revolution Square, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Karl Marx, who was born in 1818 and passed away in 1883. So he's a world historical tipster from Trier in Germany. It shows much of the broad-mindedness of the Russians, that they were willing to construct the statue of a German and put it up here in 1961, not so long after the Second World War, when millions of their civilians had been deliberately killed by the German army. Now, Marx was of Jewish stock, so obviously the Nazis wouldn't have regarded him as Jewish, though he was brought up as a Christian. But he's best known as a philosopher and the man who invented communism as we know it, famously co-authoring the Communist Manifesto with Friedrich Engels in 1848, his call to arms. And there you see the closing words of it inscribed beneath his image, which says, "Workers of all lands unite." It misses off the end of the sentence, which is, "You have nothing to lose but your chains, you have a world to win." Those are the closing words of the Communist Manifesto. So there he is, emerging from the rock, hewn from granite. I think there's a very great significance to that, to say that his words, his message will endure and so on, how tough it is. And then here on the square are a few other quotations pertaining to the learned doctor. Well, you probably can't read it from this distance, but anyway, it's a quotation from Lenin, which says, "Marx's teaching is all-powerful because it is true." What else would I point out to you? Oh, and then Engels, his collaborator and redactor of many of his works, was much overlooked, really, very much in Marx's shadow. Engels was also a German chap, though he spent much of his life in Manchester and London. Is married to an Irish woman. Where is it? Where is it? You've gone hiding on me. Okay, sorry, got the angles wrong. There we have behind me. I'm not sure if you can read it. And Engels says his words and name will survive for centuries. That's that. And so Marx, he never got to see communism take over, really, though there was the Paris Commune in 1870-71. France had been defeated by all the German states, and so the communards, that's communists in France, they took over Paris and they tried to run it as a commune with everything owned in common. That's where the word communist comes from, sharing property, trying to run things for the common weal. But the French right-wingers besieged them, eventually crushed them, and that was that. Thousands of them were sent to exile to be punished on Devil's Island, French Guiana. Hundreds of them were executed. The Communist Party was banned, and Paris wasn't allowed to elect a mayor for many decades because it thought to be too radical, that city. There I am. That's the quotation I was giving you from Friedrich Engels, who lived on a bit after Marx. Oh yes, and then on the side it's got a little other quotation pertaining to Marx. Or sorry, no, it's a dedication. It says, "To Karl Marx, from the Communist Party and the people of the Soviet Union." So there we are. So he was very much honoured here, and children were learning Marxist-Leninism in university. No matter what subject one was studying, even pharmacy, people had to spend quite a lot of time on Marxist-Leninism. Then behind me is the Bolshoi Theatre, but I think that deserves its own video. So you can see how exalted he was. There would have been a lot more statues of him, but he's scarcely talked about now, seen as rather old hat. That's enough about Marx.